Okay, I've got a demo here, some things I was playing around with I think you might be interested in, or you may not. But anyway, it's just some, no code here really, just some demo of some drawing dot character with dots. Of course, you see on here these aren't dots, they're plus signs, but that's optional. We'll talk about that. Okay, display characters outlines with one dot at a time. Okay, so each letter will be drawn one at a time, each dot. Uh, we'll do some examples here with various fonts and sizes and speeds and sprites. Now, different fonts and sizes is done offline, okay, on a Windows machine or a Mac. The display program will do this here. And here's the basic program you load. And load programs, yes or no. The first time you'll say yes to load all the programs, and after that you can just say no. And you can use defaults and everything. Numbers display, there's 9 different demo display screens. Speeds 1 to 65,000. Okay. The defaults, if you just hit enter, is 4444. Be warned, if you put 60,000 in there, it will take a long time to display. You can play with it though. What sprite looks like could either be a dot, a plus sign, a square, or a box. So it's some options there. So with that, I'll show some demos here. Excuse the, there's a slow one here. Excuse the formatting of this. I not too good on splicing this stuff together. There you go. There's the alphabet. We're using some squares instead of dots. There's another one using the plus signs. There's the little squares. Notice the difference. The font sizes are different. There's some big ones and small ones. There's one small. You can't get much smaller than that. The dots all get shoved together. You can't read it. And there, it really does do dots like the description said. So that's a quick demo of what we're talking about here. The display program is built on Windows 11 with the emulator MES, the COCO III with 512K, and the compiler is LW Tools, like which I think a lot of people use. And I've tested on MES, which a lot of people upgraded to MAME. I never did. So MES, X4, and BC, it all work the same. The coordinates are built using some JavaScript. Okay, it was something using P5JS, and you can go to this website. It's really a handy site to learn how to do a lot of this stuff, and it's really fun for all the stuff you can do on Windows. Okay, it's quite an interesting site. The function I used off that site was a JavaScript function that they have is text to points. Okay, I'll just give you a quick overview. Here's the program that was there, the P5JS. It's basically JavaScript. And up here it's taking a points and it equals the text to point. You give it the text you want it to display. In this case, it was just a C, row column 0, 0, because I wanted it in the upper left-hand corner, and a sample factor. And what that means is how far apart the dots are going to be. You can change it to where they get closer where it almost looks like it's a complete line. And in this particular thing, I said log it to the console so we could look at it. So what does points look like after we run this? Okay, down here is the console log. This 39, that's the number of dots that are in this letter C. And there's an array in there, array of objects. And I expanded this object number 0. The X coordinate is 41.1. The Y is 8.2. Well, you can see a long line there. And we're not going to talk about angle or alpha. I didn't get too involved in them because I wanted to get this back over on the color computer. So when you run that, you get these points, and then you do this for I equals, okay, type code. And this is the same fashion of that. It's just a newer way of doing it. So for each object, get X and Y coordinates and put a point on the screen, which actually draws the dots. And in here was I wanted to put out a file that I could use on the color computer. And this do file, that's just a binary switch, true or false. So if it's true, we'll put this out to a file. Remember, build a variable with some spaces, FDB, some spaces, plus convert a numeric number to string, which is just going to be X. And this STR is the same as STR $sign on the color computer. And we're going to round it off, and that's the same thing as the INT on the color computer. So we're going to round off this down here, this 41, we'll round it off and make a string out of it, follow it with a comma, and then we'll do the same thing with the Y coordinate, make a string out of a rounded number. That would be that 8.2, we'll end up with an 8. Okay, so that, and then just here, just write it to the file. So basically that's the overview of how I built the file. So here's a look at the file. The name, the only reason I put the name in there is because I did so many tests on this that I couldn't figure them out. So I put a name of the file, and the inside was C because it's just the letter C. 60 is the font size, and 2 is the scale factor. And it put out FDB here for the offsets, and both of them was put out as zeros, okay, which would be put it in the upper left-hand corner of the color computer screen. And I wanted it, this tells it where I really want to put it on the screen. And then we get the FDBs, or the actual where the dots go on the screen. I had put all 39 out there, and then puts FFF for in the file. Now you should notice first one here is 41 by 8. If we back up here, remember down here we put this string out here, we rounded these numbers off, and that's how it got to the 41.8. And each one of them is a point on the screen. All right, so for a few more examples, let me switch some stuff here on the screen, if you will. Takes me a while to figure out what I'm doing here. Okay, so I already loaded the program, so I'm going to run the basic program. You want to load it? Yes, I do. I want to load it. And this takes a little bit to load all the fonts and the actual program. And when that's done, it's going to ask me for which one I want to do. And let's do number 9. The speed, I'm just going to take the default of 4444. And the speed look is I'm going to use a 3. Okay, and that did it. Now just do an execute. And there it's drawing the dots. That's a big font. Just draw. Okay, so we'll do another one, and let's use 7. Oops. Forget to put the no in there. 7. Same speed, and a 1. Okay, different size font, and using the plus signs as opposed to the dots. Okay, notice down at the bottom it says spacebar to change color. I'll do that. You can just go through there and get, each of them in different colors, and a Q to quit. Down in the lower corner where we see this is also the name of the file, the font size, and the factor. Like I said, I did so many of them I got all confused on who was who and had to start all over. Let's run it again. No. 5. And put in, and let's try 4 here. Again, there's boxes as opposed to dots or pluses. And again, it just draws each one out for you. So and there's some boxes. Okay, and you see as the smaller the font gets, the more crowded things look. Let's try slowing it down. And let's try a 1 on that also. This is just random. I took the file that I put out, and I sorted it based on a couple different rows within there of columns and rows. I sorted it and just do something different. One more. Oops. Okay, special characters. And they probably only show up good as dots. You try putting them up as the other things and you can't hardly tell what they are. So anyway, that's the demo. Now if I can get back to where I need to be. Okay, so I'll put that on the disk, the program and all the files on a disk called dots.disk. I'll put that in a zip file along with a PDF write-up on how to do it. It's not that hard, and then all you have to do is run dots01.basic, and that's it. That was just a demo. You may or may not want to think about playing around with something like that, but there it is. One more thought. I forgot I had this here to slide. I just was going to put together where we could put all the letters out there, A, B, C, D, and that individually, to where you could just take a string and the color computer side and just put what you want to it and print there, but I have to go through the other side. I did some calculations, and if I got all the uppercases, all 26 letters, all 26 lower cases, and the 10 numbers, it'd take close to 10,000 bytes, 9,600 and something. Okay, well, it pretty much has to fit in one of our blocks that we have over there, and they're all 8,192 bytes. So, and within there, we got to have all the coordinates and the program that displays it. So this was well over the limit, so I can't do it all. Excuse me. So I think I could do it with just take the uppercase letters and numbers and build a file with the coordinates and then do another one with lowercase and that, but I could, but then again, I'm just thinking it's a lot of work, and best I can tell, very few people would ever use it, and probably just me, because very few people ever look at these videos anyway. So anyway, that's my thoughts.